Students search through Lumpy old couch and make a startling discovery. Laura Russo, Callie Guasti, and Reese Workhoven had recently moved to their new apartment. While moving out, the trio had many chores awaiting them, far from thinking that an unexpected event would change their lives forever. The three girls make a routine purchase. The trio resided in a charming old-fashioned town of New Paltz, nestled in New York's Hudson Valley. Though the community made for a neat place to live, these friends weren't exactly surrounded by luxury. Laura, Callie, and Reese were all either enrolled in college or recently graduated. Most of their income went toward rent and ramen, so any leftover cash had to be invested wisely. One thing they all agreed on was that their apartment desperately needed furniture. The 20-somethings wandered into their local Salvation Army store and inspected their couch selection. They came across some really nice pieces that unfortunately wouldn't fit in their apartment. Only one would, and it was a doozy. So the roommates had no other choice but to lug home the oldest and ugliest couch the store had to offer. Still, it was only $20, so they certainly found a bargain, even if it was unsightly. Laura, Reese, and Callie celebrated by sitting back on their couch and watching some TV. Some doubts crept in their minds, however. One part of the couch was so uncomfortable, it almost felt like there was something inside of it. Inspired by this half-serious thought, the roommates began to search through their sofa. Most of its sections simply proved to be lumpy and misshapen. But then, Reese froze. He found a thick envelope in one of the pillows. Callie and Laura tore apart the rest of the couch in a frenzy. Within a few seconds, they located a second envelope, and then another, and soon more. There were envelopes hiding throughout the couch. Their new sofa lay in pieces, but that didn't seem to matter. The roommates now had a stack of mysterious packages begging to be opened. Each of them peered inside one, but had no idea how to react. As Reese later put it, "I almost peed." Were they seeing things? Each package contained rolls of bills inches thick. Practically every denomination was stuffed in there, from ones up to hundreds. It would take the roommates a while to count it all up. It was seriously a bundle. Laura, Callie, and Reese both laughed and cried while they counted the bills. Sure, they'd all found loose change between cushions before. This type of discovery, on the other hand, defied explanation. Altogether, the couch money added up to $41,000. The roomies chattered about how much rent it would cover. Reese mentioned buying his mom a car. Unfortunately, they discovered one final object that threatened to throw a wrench into their plans. A separate envelope, torn and battered as it was, held a bank deposit slip. The paper contained all sorts of personal information, including a full name, presumably the owner of all that cash. The trio had a true dilemma on their hands. Although the money would really help them out, the friends agreed the right thing to do would be to return it. But first, they had to see if they could track down the owner. Hoping they weren't throwing away the windfall of a lifetime, the roommates shared the bank information with the Salvation Army. Against all odds, the charity managed to track down the original owners. There was no backing out now. The next day, the new Paltzers drove out to the provided address. When they finally arrived, nobody liked what they saw. The house was totally run down. Multiple "Beware of Dog" signs hung on the fence. Who, the kids wondered, were they about to get involved with? Much to their relief, an old woman opened the door and welcomed them inside. She spent most of her days alone as her husband passed away and she retired from the florist shop. She claimed the money was hers, but she'd completely forgot it was in the couch. Seeing her young visitors scratch their heads, she explained she grew up in a time when people couldn't trust banks. Instead of putting her life savings in an account, she and her husband stuffed their nest egg into the furniture until their kids donated it. In that moment, the roommates understood the pile of cash wasn't theirs to take. They returned the money to the elderly woman, who thanked them profusely. She felt so grateful, in fact, that she sprung a surprise on them. She offered the roommates the sofa and $1,000 as a finder's fee. It might seem like nothing compared to the total fortune, but it wasn't a bad return on a $20 bought item. For Laura, Callie, and Reese, the real reward was returning the amount of money to its owner. Though they were able to take the savings for themselves, the girls made the right decision, something they can forever be proud of.